means Canadian military pattern. It's a Canadian military pattern truck. It's not a tank, but why is it significant and important? Canada produced more of these vehicles for the Allied effort than any other country in the world. These vehicles, the CMP, allow the Allied armies to be mobile throughout the Second World War. They mechanized our divisions. This is the truck that won the Second World War on the Western Front.
Oh, no kidding.
And that is an original 1943 version.
Oh, весьма.
Смешная штука.
Как табуретка.
Our second vehicle is an early tracked armored vehicle. It was called the Universal Carrier, or more commonly became known as the Bren Carrier, as it often had a Bren machine gun mounted in the front. It was used for carrying infantry. It was also used for towing artillery pieces. It was developed in 1936 and used until the end of the war. Surprisingly, it was so robust that it was actually used by many of the nations in the Second World War well into the 1950s and 1960s.
Как он скрипит. Танк.
The next Second War armored vehicle we have for you is the M8 Greyhound. This is an armored reconnaissance or scout car, American built. It was used in all theaters of the Second World War, including the Pacific and in Burma. Built in America between 1942 and 1945, over 8,000 of these were built. Believe it or not, some of these are still in active service in some parts of the world. The armored reconnaissance car would go out ahead of the troops. Each one was equipped with a long-range radio to report back to headquarters.
А это танк.
Next we have Leo. Leo is our M3 Stuart tank. This is the only running Stuart tank in Canada.
Вау.
The M3 is a light tank. It was used in the early part of the war. This is a 1942. As the war went on and armor became larger, the German tanks became heavier with their guns. The M3 Stuart was used in a reconnaissance role, but in 1942 it was also used in the front line in the desert against Rommel.
Не знаю.
Танки грязи не боятся.
Не.
Next we have Bart. Bart is our 1944 M4 Sherman tank. The M4 Sherman tank was a late war Sherman. As you can see, it has a thick armored welded hull instead of the thin cast hulls of the early Shermans. It was used near the end of the war as a main battle tank, although it is a medium tank. The Sherman that you see here was used by the Allied forces well after the Second World War. They served in Korea and other conflicts around the world. They were used in Canada up until the 70s as a trainer tank. The M4 Sherman being the most iconic Second World War tank, one that you've seen in many movies, including Fury, if you've seen that one.
Это тот, который стрелял.
Okay, next we have our another M4 Sherman, Billy. Now Billy has been outfitted to give you guys a bit of a surprise. It's going to fire throughout today's show with all of its guns. We're also going to try something different here. I'm going to try to actually mic you in to the tank commander so that he can speak directly to you. It might be a bit softer and more difficult to hear. We're experimenting with this technology, but I'm going to pass it over here to Commander of the tank, Mr. Al Duffy. Go ahead.
Want to hear some noise?
Ой!
Here's a 50 cal.
And the cannon.
Here's a turret, coaxial machine gun. And here's the bell gun.
Нет, не похож.
Here they are, all together.
Okay, so what he was trying to tell you, if you did hear him, is that they were fired.
Ой! Как они его сзади не теряют.
Самый шумный танк в районе.
Да вообще.
Okay, Billy will be back around for more firing. I'm sorry if that's a little loud. Okay, next I'm going to show you two vehicles that are not from the Second World War.
Это, наверное, плавает.
New at the museum this year is every Tank Saturday we will be offering tank rides. So today's special vehicle that we're going to be giving a ride in is the M113 Armored Personnel Carrier. After the show, if you're interested in riding any of these vehicles, make your way down to the assembly area. We also have the M548. This is our battle bus. Okay, a ride in the battle bus is only $10 a person, and it'll take you around the track and amongst all of our military vehicles for anyone who's interested. And our special vehicle of the day here is the M113 Armored Personnel Carrier. It's a bit more expensive. A ride for that vehicle is $50 a person. So after the show, these vehicles will be down the end if you're interested.
Да, персонал Carrier. Так там же ж темно и ни хрена не видно. Почему дороже?
Now this segment of the show is the parade. The vehicles are going to continue around. You'll get to see them all in action in parade. And I'm sure that Billy will continue to fire and move.
Вот этот. Нет, не этот Лео.
Это бар.
Это Барт, да. А потом Лео, а потом который стрелял.
The weapons that the M4 Sherman is using, in the front of the vehicle, there's a co-driver. You see that little ball gun at the front? That's a 30 caliber machine gun, ball gun. Then right in the turret, there's a coaxial 30 caliber machine gun. That's right in line with the main weapon.
Вилли едет. Вилли. Как? Охренеть, как он бахает в уши.